I really
No,
wish.
you
I
can't.
really wish I was recording prior to that.
you can't have hemorrhoids on your ear, right?
Yeah, but
Exactly.
It
That's
goes,
where they're at.
It goes through the whole bloodstream, absorbed into the skin
I hate both of you.
towards the anus.
No, where I had the industrial done, it gets inflamed, and like it was really bad, and I tried everything, and I remember the piercer being like, hemorrhoid cream. So I actually tried it. Works like a charm.
Sweet.
So
Wow.
every now and again, when it gets inflamed, I just hemorrhoid cream it up, which makes sense. It like reduces inflammation.
Right.
But
I
instead
was
of,
like,
yeah.
And it probably has some sort of like a pain relieving
Yes, it has 20% lidocaine.
Yeah.
So once
lidocaine.
yeah. And so like I touched it once and then didn't realize it and touched my lip and like half my mouth went numb and I thought I was having a stroke. It's funny now. And I've done it,
It
a
was
few
terrifying
times.
in the moment.
And then one time I did it at work and I was talking to one of my friends at work about it, Katie. And I was like, you want to put some on your lip to see what it feels like? And beyond reason, she said yes. But before I could tell her only do like a little bit, because it was just like a touch, she had like put it on her fingers and put it around her whole mouth.
Oh, jeez.
And she does checkout for us, so she's like constantly talking to patients.
Right.
And she's like, my whole lips are rubbed already. And I was like, yeah,
Like,
you weren't supposed to do that. You'll be fine in like 20
It's not
minutes. She like,
chapstick.
she ran to the bathroom and was like wiping her mouth off. She's like, I can still feel it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the My Life, Your Life Together podcast. We are joined today by one of our good friends, John.
Best friends
We are actually the three best friends
that anybody
that
could ever have.
anyone could ever
Wow.
have.
I'm honored.
Yeah.
And today we have an awesome topic that actually we recorded one episode of this prior,
Wah, wah.
Zach and I, and due to technical difficulties, that episode is lost. But today we are redoing the topic and the content with an added guest who will bring...
Who just turned his hat backwards and went from John
Yeah.
Paley to Pon Jaley.
Wow.
Expert musician, drummer extraordinaire, and does something at Guitar Center. I don't know what. Gets us discounts.
Yes! Gets us ridiculous, awesome discounts.
John, say hi.
Wow. What's up? I'm here. I'm ready.
Oh, he's so nervous. I can tell just by looking at him.
I'm here.
He's crying.
That's why he had to turn his hat
Yeah,
backward. He had
'cause
to
now
put
he-
it rally, get himself pumped.
We've got two people with hat backwards, and I'm sitting here with a
Bandana.
bandana headband.
Scrunchie.
Yeah, headband. Yeah.
All right, I'm going back.
You should take your hat off. Your hair looks sick.
It does. I
If
just
you
didn't
are in
have
the
time
capital
to.
region,
Yeah.
follow. Was it Ariana the Stylist? At Ariana the Stylist on Instagram.
Yes.
She does all of our men's cuts,
Yep.
and we all look sexy.
Wow.
Yeah. Coming from Mr. Sexy Coffee himself.
Yeah.
So
That's saying something.
shout out to
Yeah,
our
but-
hairstylist.
I'm only sexy from like the forehead up.
Wow. Wow. Mid drink.
Thanks, Ariana.
Oh,
I got that going
was
for me.
amazing.
Wow.
All right, I derailed Zach's intro as first intro
No,
of co-hosting the podcast. So
I
please,
think that was a phenomenal intro.
please take it over. What are we doing?
Today we are talking about music. Just kind of our own musical background, what all we play, family musical background, classical trained versus self-taught, things like that. So, to get us started off, I'll start with John.
Oh.
We'll go around. You're the guest. We
Guest
have to start
first,
with
yeah.
you. Yeah.
Okay.
You're
so
the reason
my-
people are here listening right
Yeah.
now.
That's not true.
No one listens for Zach and Zach.
Wait, before we get into that,
Did we
Okay.
get anything from our Netherlands?
no, because the episode never
Oh.
aired, so I have to put
Yep.
this out there. I can look at the statistical breakdown of like where listeners are from.
Yeah.
And like I can obviously tell from the burden of listening activity if there's like if a VPN is involved, obviously. We have had 10 downloads from the Netherlands. Each episode has been downloaded from the Netherlands.
10 episodes, 10 downloads from the Netherlands.
And I need to know if it's just like a weird place to have a VPN route through. Like I've never experienced that before, but I don't have a lot of experience, I suppose. Or if we actually have a person in the Netherlands listening. And so I urged them, if you're listening and you actually are from the Netherlands, you need to send us a message on Instagram.
Yeah, DM us.
And,
we actually
and
went
I'm going
into
to
it.
ship you a shirt
Yes.
from our podcast.
We actually went into it quite a bit on the lost episode.
R.I.P.
Yeah, but I think it's phenomenal. I really hope that it's true that it is an actual fan in the Netherlands. Like some random person in the Netherlands was looking through like Apple Podcasts and was like, I'll try this, and just decided to fall in love with our podcast.
I really hope it's gold member.
I really am excited and hope that we do legitimately have like this one dedicated fan in the Netherlands.
That would mean the world to me.
You would automatically become like the favorite fan of the podcast.
And if you're not real and it's just somebody
On a
else,
VPN?
you're dead to me. Anyways, Jonathan.
That's me.
Jonathan J. Lee.
That's me.
JP.
You started music when you were 3 years old, hitting a cymbal.
That's not true.
Oh,
That's false
he's
news.
stealing my thunder.
I'll say, are we doing like a ask question, answer
We're
question?
doing good cop, bad cop.
Why did you start playing music? Well, my first
Good
question
cop.
actually is family background. Did you grow up in a musical family? Does anyone in your family play music? Was that like?
Not really. My uncle played a lot of country music.
I never knew that.
That's awesome.
And I guess like where a lot of my desire from music comes from my best friend's father. His name's Alan.
Not familiar.
Super
I didn't
tall,
know-
bald-headed, jacked guy.
I didn't know your dad was named Alan and was super tall and bald and jacked. Zach.
Not this best friend.
Yeah.
His one true childhood best
Yes.
friend.
Yeah.
And
for instance,
Alan is an animal.
Yeah, he's a monster.
I miss him.
So I kind of consider him family. I wouldn't say kind of. I definitely consider him family.
Mm-hmm.
Not blood family. But yeah, him and my uncle were probably the only two musical influences in my life.
Nice.
You should come back on with Alan. Just talk straight
Yes.
drums.
Yeah, yeah. We'll just
Is
beatbox the
Alan
entire...
a drummer?
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
is
Nice.
Yeah, he's
Sick drummer.
Mind
playing
blowing.
for 20, 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. he
Yeah.
toured a lot in Arizona, across the states. Has
And
a
just
lot of experience.
All around nice guy.
Oh, the best.
Nice.
The
Yeah.
best.
So with that influence,
So what instrument did your uncle play?
Acoustic guitar.
Okay, and that's it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only thing I've seen him play.
So do you enjoy country music?
It's okay. I think there's some songs that are nice, but
Okay.
I think in general, I'll usually prefer to listen to something else.
Yeah. That's where I'm at.
so your uncle did he play like professionally? Did he tour or just kind of like play at home and have fun with it?
I think he just mainly played at home. At least I haven't seen him. Like he would sometimes play at like parties. But that was also when I was like a lot younger since he stopped. I don't know, every time we go to a party to his place, he's always playing country music and, drinking a beer and all that kind of stuff.
Did an ice cold beer ever break his heart?
No, but we listened to Red Solo Cup probably every single party.
I don't know any of these references.
Mine was a Luke Combs reference, so
That's-
we are
that's
giving
nice.
credit where credit is due. So don't come after us for.
Ah, yes. If Luke Combs ever happened to cross this,
Yes,
it would be worth the cease and desist.
it would be worth.
Like
But
you
I
guys would
still
move
want
on.
our first cease and desist either to be Kanye or Paul Pierce.
Wow.
Okay,
Kanye would be
And those
cool.
references are from previous episodes, so go find them. And this is fun because even though we already recorded this, I remember none of Big Daddy Jenkins' answers.
Really?
So I'm gonna ask him and be like, "So what was your family, history with music?" And I'll do it jokingly, and I don't remember a darn thing about what you said. Does your mom do something with music? Did she sing?
So,
Tell me she sang. Did I make that up?
so not like technically, like will sing around the house and stuff like that, but she never did didn't sing in a band or choir or nothing like that.
Not in a band of horses.
No. My dad, we did discuss this for both of our dads. My dad is a phenomenal air guitarist.
I remember that part.
He goes hard
Yes.
with air guitar.
Nice.
Same with my father.
Yeah, he also does not play any instruments, except for the radio. Or I would say that I got a lot of good appreciation for music from my parents because they both grew up like 60s, 70s, kind of like classic rock era. And so I grew up listening to a lot of like good classical rock and stuff like that. So I got a good appreciation, almost like a good musical education.
Okay. I dig it.
But they didn't have a lot of musical influence. Whereas my sister is a great musician.
Oh, yeah. I remember that now.
Yeah, my sister started playing piano like I don't know when she was really young, and she was very talented with piano. She was classically trained, and I remember growing up like going to her recitals and stuff, and she was phenomenal. But it's kind of one of those tales of like very strict classical teacher that just kind of burns out a student. My sister ended up getting
Whiplash.
Yeah, which we discussed how I haven't seen that movie,
Yeah.
and I really need to see that
What?
movie.
You
Yeah,
haven't
isn't that
seen
wild?
Yeah.
movie? That's crazy.
Because I
But-
reference that a lot on the worship team.
Okay. Well, we'll have to have a Three Amigos night and watch Whiplash.
Oh, you could do the review like you did for Cocaine Bear.
That'd be fun.
That's a callback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pon.
Good
Are you in
job,
for that?
buddy.
If all three of us watch Whiplash together and then do what did you think about J.K. Simmons and why is he amazing? And why was it fun to watch Miles Teller cry? I'm
So-
going down a rabbit trail.
Yeah, but so my sister was very musically talented. She's naturally got a fantastic voice, can sing, without any classical training with her voice. She taught herself guitar, is good at guitar, and started like writing music, all this stuff. So she has a ton of natural like musical ability. So that's kind of my family background. I think I got a good education from my parents, and then I kind of grew up as the younger sibling watching my sister and her playing music, which sparked my interest. Before we get on to the next question, Zach, what's your
On to the
family
next.
background?
On to the no.
What is your Mr. Sexy Coffee? What is your family background with music? Did you have any musical influence growing up, or are you the oddball in your family that just broke into? This is a really long word. Just saying, you know the question.
I'm the oddball in the family, but not for that reason. As you touched upon previously, I'm not going to say
mind.
that. As you touched upon previously, your father shreds a mean electric guitar, the
In the
air
air.
variety. My father also is an air guitarist by nature, and he would be a great time at karaoke. Not like a professional or semi-professional singer, but he'd have a good time. My mother was the musician, if you will. I know growing up, I believe she played drums. She's played piano, guitar, and bass.
Slap of the bass.
Yeah. So we had a piano in our house growing up that we kind of just like punched every now and again the keys to be like dumb little kids do. Never learned how to play it though. And
Did you actually punch them, or would you like kind of poorly play on them with?
yeah, just poorly
Force.
play on them.
Okay.
When I got married, though, I'd bought Lex a keyboard because she used to play piano for years and years and years, and I was like, "Oh, you should play again." And then she never touched it. But I did learn to play that dun 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 song. Da 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 da.
Oh, okay. Took me back. I can't sing
And then my brother and I learned to play guitar at the same time. I gave up guitar, obviously, because he just had hours to practice, and it was very demoralizing. Listen to him just like go from nothing to shredding in like 3 weeks. When I'm just like, ding, 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 ding,
And he's over here like playing Hendrix and like.
yeah. Yeah. So, but then I started playing bass because I heard For Whom the Bell Tolls, and the beginning of that is a bass, and I was like, that's everything I want in my life. So that's how I got into playing bass guitar. Hey, everybody, I play bass guitar. And yeah, I would just learn Metallica songs and then AFI songs and Blink-182 songs and just memorize them. So I didn't actually know how to play the bass. I didn't know what I was playing, but I knew that I was copying people, and that was good enough for me. Yeah.
So you didn't start playing the bass till after you and Lexi got married?
Oh, no, sorry. That timeline may have been
Sorry.
confusing. I started playing bass when I was probably like I got a bass when I was like 17,
Okay.
maybe 18-ish. I didn't really start playing until Jamie told me to play that Easter Sunday for the first time in front of people. But we can get into that story. So, like, when I say playing, that's what I mean. Like, because then I knew what I was playing because I was learning slowly.
Yeah.
But, like, when I was, like, 16, probably 16, 17, I was just playing, a bunch of
For
Metallica,
funsies.
Against Me, probably Black Flag, and whatever the heck Henry Rollins was doing with himself at that time. God bless him. So, yeah.
Like, that
So
sounds
I would
fun,
say,
I'm
like,
gonna learn.
like my mom was the musician in the family, but because me and my brother were learning at the same time, like we kind of like melded off of each other a little bit. It definitely took me longer to get into my rhythm to where I am now, which I still don't consider myself a proficient bass player.
What?
He for our audience listening, he is full of it because he is
100%.
he is a very capable and
can-
very proficient.
I can
bass
play
player.
what I need to.
So can I.
Yeah, but like, shut up, guest. No, but like, if you heard a song, you're like, that's a cool song. You could play it without even worrying about it. Or if like
Depends on
when
the
when
song.
when we start writing songs, and I'm like, John, you need to come up with a drum line for the song. You're gonna be able to do it.
I see what you're saying.
Whereas if somebody was like, Zach, come up with the bass line and all that, like, I could give you like a standard structure, but I'm not gonna do any frills or anything because frills hurt my heart. Frills hurt my head. Sometimes my hand and my heart.
That's I thought you were gonna say hand and heart.
But, and this may be another topic for another day, but writing music and being able to play proficiently are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's
Definitely.
all a
Skill on its own.
yeah. Writing music is its own.
Yeah,
Okay.
difficulty.
Yeah. So, you started learning bass when you were like 16 and playing. Well, no, that'll be in our next question. So we're moving on to.
Oh, spoilers.
You jumped into the into the second question. So now to JP for a second.
Oh,
Well,
for me.
you didn't send out the outline to people. You
Yeah.
kept it on your phone,
know.
so I didn't know where I was jumping.
JP, what all do you play, and how old were you when you started learning?
Oh boy. Okay, well, we'll start with my main instrument, which is the drums.
Yeah. Drum master, actually.
Wow. I wouldn't consider myself that, but I appreciate the compliment. I probably started playing the drum set around 13, 15, somewhere around there.
13, 15.
Yeah.
Like before America was discovered?
Yeah, I was the inventor.
Wild.
Yeah, well, that's why it took me so long.
And how old are you now for the audience listening?
My actual age or since 13, 15?
Let's go with you.
823. I'm 23 years old.
23. So for a decade, just about, you've
Yeah.
been playing the drum set.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, continue.
That is impressive.
And then I probably started I played percussion before the drum set in school.
So, like, what kind of percussion?
The triangle.
Yeah, triangle is one of them. No, I'm being serious. Tambourine, just a snare drum on its own, xylophone.
Okay.
So
all of these are
did you
being
play
incorporated.
snare like drumline snare?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But
that's
like
cool.
not like marching band. It's more of like an orchestra concert
okay.
setting.
Oh, so you didn't
Gotcha.
Nick Cannon it.
No, no.
I made a Nick Cannon reference earlier, and both of y'all missed it.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, it should have been funnier then.
Okay.
Moving on.
Wow.
Shots across the bow.
Was the Nick Cannon reference about having 17 different children?
I don't remember that.
No, you said something about when you're looking for him to write a drum line, and I said like Nick Cannon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I missed that.
That went right over. Yeah.
Mine was funnier. Hold on. Speaking of not Nick Cannon, did you see that Dolphin safety who has 4 women pregnant at the same time?
No.
What?
Like, how
Dolphin
do you have
safety?
time
What is
to
that?
be an NFL player and practice and start
Oh.
and then impregnate 4 women at the same time?
I thought like I went to like the animal
Oh,
like safety
then-
habitat, and then I went to like
and then he's like, "How did it?"
yeah,
no, that
it was like
yeah,
4 times, really.
that's wild. Yeah.
And then I thought of like the guy who watches the dolphins in the zoo or whatever, and I was like, oh, who cares? Cool for that guy.
okay,
How did we get here?
Nick Cannon.
So
Nick Cannon.
you played percussion,
Yeah.
but more like orchestral.
Yeah, more like a concert setting. So it wasn't any like string instruments, but it was like brass, wind instruments, and then we had like a whole percussion section in the back row with probably like 4 or 5 people, and I was one of them.
Were you the best one?
Some years I was
I
definitely
am-
the worst.
I am astonished that you called yourself the best one some years.
Well, it
I've
depen-
never heard you compliment yourself.
It depends on the instrument. Like I was for some reason always really bad at the snare drum, but like anything that was like more melodic, I was a lot better at.
Okay.
Because I don't know, maybe because there's more parts, so the other kids didn't want to like learn it. I don't know. But so like the timpani and the xylophone were like my 2 main.
What's that first thing?
Timpani?
Yeah,
It's
what
like
is
the
that?
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom,
the
boom,
big
boom.
drums that
Like
you
from
play with.
Spaceballs?
Oh, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
They usually have 4 of them, like 4
Yeah,
like giant.
they're
ones.
large, and you
Okay.
play with like mallets.
Is that what like Clown would play in Slipknot?
Another reference that I don't remember. Like I said, if I saw it, like there's
I
2.
don't think so. It's think orchestra.
Okay.
The dude standing.
Okay.
That has a
Well,
big.
like the big circular mallet things? Are the drums like as tall as a human?
No.
No, that's
Like
like, a
half
bass
as
drum.
tall of a human?
Listen,
Can somebody show me a picture?
that's
Yes,
exactly
exact
what I'm
right
doing
now.
right now. Is
and then we can have
Googling
breakfast at
it.
Timpani's.
At Timpani's.
While he's Googling that, because I want this on recording, John, what is your dream percussion setup?
Oh,
Because
dream
this is going to be
percussion
very
setup.
important in the next few years for us.
Yeah, those are timpanis.
Oh,
Do you want me to-
it's like a drum cauldron.
Sure.
Yeah, it's just a
drum
cauldron with some
cauldron.
skin
And-
over the top.
And there's pedals in front of them,
what?
and that like tunes them up and down. It tightens the head.
That's
so
wild. I want one.
They're big.
I
And
They're-
want one.
Yeah, they're huge.
You'd have
I
you'd have
want
to like
one.
get the parts individually through the door, then build it in your house, and then if you wanted to get it out, you might be able to throw it through the window. But they're big.
Jeez. I still want
Anyways,
one. Anyways, what's your dream percussion setup?
Do you want percussion or drum set?
Percussion.
Okay.
Because like
I was
that's
gonna say that's
like-
two different.
that's where John's heart is moving right now.
Like as if I'm playing with someone
Like
on the drum set,
let's
and
say
I have my own little percussion.
hypothetically.
Yes,
The
hypothetically.
worship team just got a brand new drummer who is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Which opened up an avenue for you to be a percussionist at said church on
Yes.
said worship team. What instruments
that
would
would
you
ever
require?
Well, definitely shaker. That'd be number one.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd want a cymbal. I don't know how it would work in the building that we have, but I'd want a cymbal that I can swell on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got to do like bongos or congas or something like that.
Yeah.
A full hand drum set.
Djembe. What else would I want? I feel like I would want a tambourine, but I feel like if people see me playing the tambourine, they're gonna bring
No,
their own
they
tambourines
won't.
from home.
They won't.
Okay.
They
well,
won't.
They're not allowed.
They won't. They won't.
I was about
about
to
the
say, I think you
xylophone?
broke Zach. They won't. They won't. They won't. They
we set
won't.
the record
Oh,
there.
we don't do that here.
So the real question is, in your percussion set, will there or will there not be more cowbell?
Oh, I guess I could do cowbell.
Is that a Christopher Walken?
It's
Yes.
it's I think it's a Nick
I've got a
Cannon. Nick
fever.
Cannon
And
reference.
the only prescription is
That was bad.
I
No, it was
I'm-
bad. It was bad. I'm
I
sorry. I'm sorry.
wasn't
I'm sorry.
trying to be
I
good
liked
at
it.
it.
I liked it.
You weren't trying to be good at it. Why would you do something and
I
not
liked it.
and try to
Oh
not be
my
good at
gosh.
it? I think I had too
Zach,
much vinegar today.
build a bridge
I'm
yeah,
uncomfortable.
and jump off it.
and get over it.
Oh, man, you're a nice guys. If you're wondering who's the nicest host, it's definitely Zach over me because I was build
It's
a bridge and
definitely
jump
Zach
off
over
it.
Zach.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, back to your.
Would you have a
dream percussion.
xylophone though?
I would like to, but I don't think it would fit the music
That
setting.
wasn't the question.
Ah,
What are you
it's
talking
just-
about?
it's
House of
so, like-
Miracles starts with a xylophone.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You could do a lot with it.
Oh, I would want some like electronic heads that I could like sample like a clap in
Yes.
or like some stuff like that. That would be
Or
ideal.
do you remember? And maybe you don't. Maybe it was just my limited experience in a certain realm. Like there for a while in worship circles, the electronic drum pad to the side that always had the like bass drop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it was like a huge fad there for like 2 years.
What's
Yeah.
I feel like we play a song that would have that, but I was thinking Tremble.
Tremble.
That's what I was thinking too.
I remember Jordan had that drum, that drum pad when we played Tremble twice before it got taken away.
Yeah. It's cool for youth services, but I don't think
It didn't transition well on a Sunday morning.
no, we had like a sub kick in there too. and
Oh
just-
yeah, that was
yeah.
things were wild for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's try and bring it back.
Okay. Yeah. So
All right,
I've
so
been,
drums is your main thing. You've done percussion.
Yeah.
I know you know how to play piano.
I kind of know how to play piano, but that's only because of percussion experience.
Okay, but you still know how to play it.
Hold on. I'm very curious how percussion experience translates into piano.
So the xylophone and the marimba,
right.
since they're the same keys, just on different.
Using
Using a-
different format.
Yeah. Since I played the xylophone in school so much, I could just translate that to the piano,
That makes sense.
so then I knew chords.
You're so smart.
Well, it's just pattern recognition.
I don't have
It's
any.
just classical
I don't
training.
have any of that.
So I basically know how to play the piano. I more know how to play the xylophone, which is basically the piano. Is a better way of
It's the piano played with mallets.
right. Except
Yeah.
that now I have 10 little mallets as fingers. But I definitely enjoy playing the xylophone more than I do the piano.
Okay.
Definitely. Or the
So you
vibraphone.
have some classical training from school that's like in percussion.
Yeah.
What about kit? Playing drum kit? Do you have, were
Hmm.
you self-taught? Do you have a teacher? Was it like classical percussion or drum training? What was your learning experience?
It was primarily, I'd say like 90% self-taught. But it's kind of the same thing with piano, where I took a lot what I learned from percussion and just transposed it to the different drums and the drum kit. Getting the feet was definitely a hard part, but I'm always like tapping on my feet, and that kind of helped a little bit. Like when I'm playing in percussion, I was keeping tempo by tapping my foot. I think the only outside training that I got was from Alan. That'd probably be it.
Is Alan so ripped? So to preface this question, JP told me, or John told me once, that his drum teacher, if he dropped a stick, would make him do push-ups for dropping a stick.
Yeah.
And so my
That
next
was in school.
Oh,
That was not Alan. No.
Dang it. I was about to ask, is that why Alan's so ripped?
I've seen Alan drop many a stick.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's always dropping his sticks.
No, that was in school, and I don't think it was part of the curriculum of percussion. I think that dude was just having a bad year.
A bad year.
Just angry and
Yeah, this generation
everybody
of
do
kids.
push-ups.
Yeah.
So you were taught by some by Alan and some self-taught.
Yeah, like
Okay.
YouTube or
Yeah.
books that I can, because I can read sheet music. But
Nerd.
okay.
No, that's actually impressive. Like,
If you're a nerd.
I feel like percussion or drum sheet music is
It can get a lot.
it can be very difficult, especially when you get to like all of a sudden you've got 16th notes and you're trying to
right,
like
right.
oh my gosh, there's so much stuff on
On
this
top of
page.
other stuff. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's wild.
I don't want any part of that. John, what's the newest instrument that you're playing?
I'm learning electric guitar.
Yeah,
Nice.
you are.
Do you know like acoustic guitar? Like anybody? Okay, so you're starting guitar on an electric.
Yes.
Nice, okay.
Yeah. For the worship team, because we don't have an electric guitarist at the moment.
That is true. Are you okay? So are you doing it to learn more like lead guitar type stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I think the biggest challenge is going to be playing with our piano player. Because going from not having another lead part
Right.
to now figuring out how we can play together.
Our piano player is pretty easy going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah.
And you know, I can put in a good word for you.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
For those that don't know, the piano player is my wife, so she's also incredibly musically talented. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
she's fantastic. Her whole family is ridiculously
It's fun.
musically
They can start a
talented.
band.
It's really fun because whenever I need an answer to something, I ask her, and then I get all the credit for the answer. It's just so great.
It's a win-win.
You're like,
Music directing is fun.
what key are we in?
No, I am the key guru.
He's got the music
Even
stand.
even before music stand, I knew all the keys for every song for everybody leading them.
Wow.
When they
Is
didn't
that
even
just
know.
because you
Wow.
memorized it, or if they played the progression, you'd be like, oh, that's the key of E?
Oh no, because I memorized it. So just to summarize,
We got drums, piano. I would count percussion as its own instrument.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then now I'm learning electric guitar.
and that's it. That's good enough for
Yes.
you.
For right
That's
now.
it
Yeah.
for now.
Yeah, I got
Till we
other
need
ones.
a bass player and then a male vocalist, and just keep going.
We need a
Yeah.
Wamola player.
Trumpet player. Oh, I always wanted to play
Caleb.
the harp.
Harp, yes.
That was always an
We're gonna
instrument
get
I
a
wanted
harp.
to play.
Didn't Ariana play the harp? Or did Angelia
no.
start learning?
I think you're right. It might be no.
Yeah.
Ariana
Ariana
plays
violin.
violin.
I don't know.
Maybe Ariana always wanted to play the harp. I don't know. I feel
Yeah,
like
I
there's
don't
a harp thing.
There's
with
a
one of
harp
them.
somewhere in there, but
Yeah.
I mean, with those four siblings, if there's an instrument out there, I'm sure one of the four of them plays it.
Probably.
You know,
Yeah.
so
I'd put my money on Jordan. I feel like
Yeah.
Jordan could probably pick up any instrument and learn to play it the fastest.
I mean, Jordan has confidently said, "Oh yeah, if I need to learn how to play something, give me like a week and I can probably play it."
100%.
And I'm like,
He's just he fascinates me.
Yeah.
Everything about Jordan. Okay, this isn't a Jordan podcast.
Yeah.
Jordan's gonna come
But-
on
but
sometime,
my-
and you're gonna
my-
know why I'm fascinated.
My
with
wife
him.
and her family, well, my wife and her siblings are like inexplicably musically talented and just
Yes, it's awesome.
yeah.
So, Daddy Jenkins,
What do I play?
you play drums.
I do. I currently I play drums, guitar, and vocals. I am proficient at drums. I would say that. I would not say that I'm really, really good. I also do give credit where credit is due. John is a very talented drummer
What?
on the kit.
That's not the direction I thought you were going to go.
No, I'm just. I actually was talking with the worship director about this recently because, like, most of the time when you go to a church and like listen to a worship band, like most churches, unless you're at like some of the random, like the very musically gifted places like Bethel or IHOP or like most of the drummers, it's like, oh hey, you can keep a 4/4 beat, like, cool, get on the drum kit,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
JP would fit in perfectly at a lot of these places like Bethel or IHOP that have creative talented musicians.
Where he can just hop time signatures and a drop of a hat.
Yeah. No.
Don't laugh, you can.
I hope I don't embarrass you too much.
We
but,
already have, so just
but
lead into
just
it.
keep
JP
going.
is also like one of the most humble people I think I've met, so he will never toot his own horn. But
Facts.
JP is a very talented drummer.
I'm okay. Thank you.
Oh,
He's
his
very
hands are so
talented.
sweaty right now. He's so uncomfortable. I love him.
Was this about Zach Jenkins?
It's
He
about
plays-
all of us, the three best friends.
that anybody could ever
Wow.
have.
So, I musically started actually on piano because of
Oh.
my sister. Because I was young and I saw my sister playing piano and like doing recitals and doing really well, and I was like, that's cool. Like I want to, you know.
Wait, you saw her do a recital and was like, "That's cool. I want to do that." Play in front of a bunch of people all alone.
I mean, I don't think that my kid brain put that together.
Oh, so you were kid.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
like I was
oh,
like. I was probably 6 or 7
Oh,
when I
okay,
started. Like I was kid, and I saw like my sister got like little like trophies from her recitals and stuff. And I was like, that's cool, you know. I'm like,
How old was your sister when you were watching her?
so if I was like 6, she was 10. She's 4.5 years older than me.
Okay.
So, I started on piano because that's what my sister played, and we already had a piano in the house. And it was absolutely not my thing. I didn't like music theory, especially as a little kid. I was high energy, probably too ADD. I did not have fun with the piano. So I kind of burned out on that like super fast. And then I know at one point, because I was always like tapping on things and banging on things. I know at one point my parents had got me like a super cheap little kid set, you know?
Oh yeah.
Little Tykes drummers for us or something.
Right.
Toys R
And
Us brand.
I barely, like, super vaguely remember that. I don't know what happened with that. I guess I never touched it or played it, or I would like bang on it a little bit, but I had no
The
like
pots
drum
and pans
teacher.
were more fun.
Right. So that never went anywhere. I tried to learn guitar because one of my friends in like elementary, he was starting to learn guitar, so I took like a couple guitar lessons, but I was just like, I just could not focus enough to learn the like music theory of it all. And so I didn't really play anything until young teenage years. So I actually got really interested in playing drums and started saving up myself for a drum kit.
What made you get more interested in it?
I think I
Was it like a-
always have loved rhythm.
Okay.
Always loved drums. Like,
What
it's
was your
just-
go-to music that you would like? I'm gonna play drums so I can play that. Like I said, mine was Metallica. Like For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Oh man, I can't. So here's the other thing about me: just musical taste is all over the spectrum. Like, So
Opera.
I'll listen to anything from like heavy metal to like smooth jazz, from like rap to like punk, and like all sorts of. So
Rap and punk are basically the same thing.
Are they?
Yep.
anyways,
We're gonna talk
whole
about that
different
someday.
conversation. We're not even going to start down that rabbit trail. But so I was all over. I just liked rhythm and was always like tapping on things, and it just fit me because I was very active. I think I needed something more than just my fingertips to like get the energy out. So I started saving, and I saved actually for like a couple years towards a drum set.
Dang.
So I think that's what actually convinced my mom, like, oh, hey, he's actually serious
Right.
about this. And I think I was 13, and I had saved up like a few $100s. And my family ended up helping and pitching in because they'd seen I had saved up that much, and that's from like allowances and like mowing lawns and all that stuff,
Wow.
I saw me saving up. Yep.
Are there really lawns to mow in El Paso? I thought it was all sand and rock.
There's weeds to mow.
Oh, okay.
Fair question.
That's why it took so long to get the money. There was this one person who could afford like sod to keep it alive in the
Wow.
El Paso heat.
So they ended up helping pitch in, and I bought a kit.
What was it?
So it was a Thomas Swing Star, beautiful kit.
He wouldn't shut up about this when we were searching for kits. He kept talking about it.
The Swing
it made,
Star.
It
Swing
made me
Star.
want to see it and maybe even like take up drums again.
I loved that kit. It was
See,
beautiful.
he loves it. Your kit now is
My
beautiful,
kit now
too.
is beautiful, and that is all thanks to
Guitar
Han
Center.
Gailey.
John.
Guitar Center.
Guitar
John
John.
and Guitar Center's help. But so I got the kit, and funny enough, my sister, who was like a teenager at that point, she had to be an older teenager at that point, was into like going to shows and stuff. This was in like the emo, phase. So she'd always go to shows, and she had met this drummer from a group of friends and started getting to know him, and his name, like coolest name ever, Justice Golmatico Constantine.
Wow.
He was clearly English.
Not Filipino, but he was a phenomenal drummer, like classically trained. Like he taught percussion at a local high school, but he also played in like jazz bands, metal bands, like progressive jazz band. I mean, he's one of those that I really don't know why he's not famous. I think he's just a little too ADD in his musical style to stick with something long enough to get well known at it, but very, very good drummer. And so he started teaching me, and that's where I started learning drums. And he taught me for a few years, and then after that, most everything was kind of self-taught. And then I ended up learning guitar later on when I was part of like kind of planting a local prayer room. Was actually kind of funny. We were talking about it on the Lost episode, because it was me and one other friend. Basically, we're trying to or started planting a house of prayer in El Paso after we had gone to some events at the International House of Prayer, and I was playing drums, but playing djembe because
Okay.
it was like a small space
Yeah.
at the church that they let us come in and do it on Friday nights. And my friend was there who played guitar and basically led. And and we actually joked about this because we got a space at a church to do this prayer room, and it literally was just the two of us for like
Not even
A
the people
year.
at the
Wow.
church.
yeah, not even
Like,
the people from the church that we got them to let us use the space would come to the prayer room. It was just like,
Like, it's just you two playing music together? Just
yeah, doing so like harp and bowl, like so music and prayer together, harp and bowl style worship.
I don't know. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
Harp and bowl.
thank you, King David, for that.
Shout out King Dave if you're listening right now.
whole other topic, but so it was the majority of the time it was me and our friend, and through that, like, I would randomly like kind of pick up the guitar and kind of play around with it until she finally was like, well, here, like, let me show you some stuff, you know, and I started learning that way. Also the same way I started singing, because I am not a huge fan of my own voice, but while it was just the two of us, like, doing these worship and prayer sets, I would, like, have at it, belt it, like,
comfortable.
Why not? And then that same friend was like, you can sing. And I'm like, no, I can't. And she was like, yeah, you can. And we also played on, like, our youth group's worship team together and at church and stuff. And so
Zach's got to teach me how to sing. Nobody's teaching me.
I don't know. Like,
Pedro taught me one.
I started. So
Just
she somehow ended up convincing me to start singing on the worship team. Another funny story where one day she was like, by the end of this school year, like, I'm going to have you on stage in front of a mic singing. And I was like, ha, ha, ha,
Prophecy.
good luck. Not going to happen. And somehow it happened.
She's prophetic.
Yeah. So,
And I'm just pathetic.
no, you're not.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I started learning
Love you, Zach.
guitar and vocals. And those are mostly just kind of self-taught. Drums is the only one that I have any, like, formal training on.
Well.
So,
Well.
yeah. All right. For our next question, and I think this is going to be really good for John because I think he has the most
Oh boy.
to say on this.
No pressure.
So, what experience do you have as far as, like, actually playing the instruments, as far as bands, worship teams, stuff like that? What all have you been a part of? I'm also saying that about John because he's currently on the worship team and he also has a band. So,
I'm going to answer before John.
okay.
I have no experience in any bands other than the worship team, and that's it. Thank you.
How long have you been on the worship team?
I don't remember. How old am I? 30?
Yeah.
I don't know.
7, 8 years, maybe.
Nice. But that's still 8 years of consistently playing as a part of a band with other musicians. That is
Yeah, I
that's a lot more experience than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah, it is. But I knew my answer was going to be short, and I want to really dive into John's.
Yeah,
So,
I am
That was
super
my answer,
Interesting.
Oh boy.
because John's a part of an amazing band.
All right, JP. Tell us about your experience in bands.
Bands. Okay.
So you already mentioned you played in, like, school band, like orchestral. What all experience do you have, like, playing in bands, worship? That could include, like, school bands, worship teams, like garage bands, playing shows, things like that.
Okay. All right. So we'll start with concert band. I was probably in concert band since I think 9th grade, maybe 8th grade. And then I did that all throughout high school. So that was 5 years. I think you played one show. I don't remember. I think you learned like 3 or 4 songs, and then you played a show every 3 months in school.
Okay.
I think it was something like that. Like we'd have like a winter concert,
Concerto.
and then you'd have a like one in like March or April.
So kind of like a winter and a spring.
Yeah, and
Concert.
then because like in school I wasn't the only concert band. There was like a high level concert band, a medium level, and then a low level, and then there was also that same hierarchy for orchestral bands.
What level were you?
I was in mid in 9th and 10th, and then I think I was high at 11 and 12. So you just play more complicated music is the only really difference.
Oh.
So like if you kind of sucked and didn't practice, you would kind of keep going down the chain.
Like, actually, you're getting demoted. You're on the practice team.
That carries over into real life.
Right.
The more you do something, the better you get. If you
Right.
don't practice something, you're not going to get better at it, and you're probably going to get worse in comparison to people who do practice.
and then like each song we would switch instruments as the percussionists. So one song would be doing xylophone, then bass drum, and then timpani on one, and then there was like I don't know how to describe it. It was like a percussion percussion like closet almost, like half closet, and you basically like you were.
And when did you come out of the percussion
Nope.
closet?
No.
Sorry.
Why are you gay?
I thought you
Who
were.
said I'm gay? You were gay.
I thought you were phrasing it as like I'm talking too long. You're like, all right, well, when did you get out of percussion? That's funny. I knew I should have said closet. The percussion shelf.
If anybody wants to host a podcast, let me know. I'll sell it to you.
And I'm fired.
Wow.
Yep.
Sorry, I totally derailed you.
No, you're
your,
good.
Your percussion closet.
Right. Right. And it was basically just like this like table that had all like the tiny miscellaneous instruments. So you had like a gyro, which is like a wooden. I don't even know. I used to think it looked like a fish, but it's basically like a wooden block.
Oh, and you have like a stick that you rake across it. Yeah,
Wait,
like-
that's a real instrument? I thought that's something they just gave kids with ADD to keep them occupied.
No, it's called a gyro. Guiro. Gyro.
Huh.
And then you have like the little
Neato.
like little chimes.
Mm-hmm.
One of the instruments I loved playing.
chimes.
Yeah.
Freddie.
It was the chimes. Oh, but like I don't remember. It's like a xylophone, but like all metal piping, and that you strike with hammers.
I have seen that. I have no idea
That
what
was
it's
my
called.
favorite instrument. I don't remember what it's called, but that was my favorite instrument.
That's
super
cool.
great for when you do a Christmas concert for Christmas songs.
Interesting. Interesting.
Did you ever play Carol of the Bells?
Probably. I think.
Everybody's played Carol of the Bells.
Did you play?
Except me.
They were all like weird stuff. And then I remember we would perform drum circles, like all the percussion team. We had like a percussion teacher in concert band. And the percussion teacher would teach us drum circle songs that we would do, or songs that were all 5 or 6 of us are on a xylophone, and we'd all play together.
Was it like Last Xylophone Standing?
No,
The
that is-
worst one. The
that is
teacher was
funny.
like, "You stop, get out."
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
You just play scales faster and faster, and whoever messed up first was out.
I got to be honest. I'm getting antsy. I want to know how all this leads up to you and your killer band right now. When did we get there? What happened?
Okay.
How did you get to being in a killer band right now? I need to know how. And I'm not going to say the name. I'm going to leave it up to you.
Okay.
What's the band you're in right now?
New Monarchy.
New Monarchy.
There's going to be a link in the description to go check out New Monarchy, Instagram, music, merch store. I like their merch almost better than mine.
Almost.
It's designed really, really well. By
AI.
yeah,
Oh, was it really?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but no, it does look cool. But so we haven't embarrassed John enough. I
Oh,
absolutely
fun.
love, and I say his band. It's not like he's not the sole person in it. He does have
He's a one-man band.
he does
I'm just
have
kidding.
2 other
He's-
people with him.
Yep.
Patricia and Daniel.
Yep. That's
That's
them.
definitely their names. Patrick and Dan.
Oh, okay.
Both
Yeah.
boys. Yeah.
I was very confused when he's like, "That's definitely their real names." I'm like, "What are their real names?" 'Cause
They are a trio, and
Yep.
they make bomb fire music.
Yeah.
How did that band come to be?
Oh, okay. So Patrick and I were in a band, like a mini garage band before that.
Okay.
That was called Delta 6,
Okay.
I think it was called.
Did you play any shows with Delta 6?
No, it was very like high school. We all suck, trying to force it together.
Yeah. Zach's got one of those.
Yeah.
So we didn't really do anything. other than just jam and play together every now and then. And then so Patrick and I were in that band, and then that band split up for
Creative differences.
Did they kick you out of the band? How can you kick me out of what is mine?
You guys got Yoko'd?
Yogod.
Yoko Ono'd?
What is that?
Yoko Ono, she's the reason why the Beatles ended up falling apart.
Oh, that's sad.
The crazy
No.
girl that, no.
Was it like romantic interest that split up the band? Anyways,
Who cares? Beatles suck.
they're okay. I like Ringo as a drummer.
I've never got into the Beatles.
Anyways,
New Monarchy.
yeah. So Patrick and I were in Delta 6, and then Patrick and Dan, probably like 2 years after Delta 6 split up, Patrick and Dan started their own thing, and needed a drummer, and then they asked me to sit on for a couple jams,
Mm-hmm.
and then they
So you
realized
had to
how
audition?
kind of like they came to the.
Wait, did you know Dan before this?
He says I did, but I don't remember, unfortunately. Like
funny.
we're definitely really close now. But starting out, he was more of like Patrick's friend rather than my friend.
Gotcha.
So and they came. Patrick came to my church a couple times and watched me played, and that was kind of like the moment he was like, "We need that drummer," watching me play.
Because John is phenomenal.
He's
the
best.
Good, take a drink of water.
So you kind of got a little audition. They were like, yep, this is right. And how long ago was that? How long have you guys been together as a band?
Oh,
And where's your friggin' album?
we've probably been a band for 2 years almost, a year and a half.
Something good came out of COVID.
That's funny. And then the EP that we were working on, we had to scrap. So we're starting from scratch.
I know I said this to you in person when we talked about this, but I'm kind of bummed about it. I feel like you guys should still make the EP and still release it because I
Right.
love seeing, we were talking about it, I
Yeah.
love seeing a band's roots and how they progress into, even if they change style, like
Yeah.
how they
I mean, even if you listen to the episode I did with Gabe, we talk about the first 2 or 3 songs he released, and even between the second and the third song, how much improved, and then compared to the
Yeah.
EP and the album he released, where I'm like, oh my god, he's like doing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Release it. Can
Well-
we? Don't even release it. I'll buy it from you. Just give me the soul copy.
private
I just
sale.
want
Yeah.
it.
That's
I
funny.
want your music because it's so good.
Wow.
So your band, you're
Yes.
kind of changing the style.
Yep.
What was your style?
We went from alternative rock to more trying to get into electronic indie rock. And now we're trying to go back into alt rock. It's just like we're all like we're like trying to find what works for us because
When are you guys gonna start like doing show? Have you guys played shows?
no, not yet. They lived in Vermont for a little bit. And then those two alone did like kind of like a small little party show thing. But I wasn't there. I want to play shows. I'm a little nervous to play on house kits because those always sound scary.
Yeah,
Super
they're
broken
always,
and just
yeah.
there's a hole through the snare drum
I
or
was
something
just
like that.
gonna say you'd show up and there'd be a hole through the snare drum and
Yeah, the seat's like metal rod is going through the seat. You're like, what's happening? But we definitely want to play shows and hopefully sooner rather than later.
and we will attend.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
And we'll shout you out on our podcast.
Hell yeah.
Maybe the person from the Netherlands can come over and catch a show.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
If they do, they get a free ticket.
So that's your personal band, like creative, but you've also play on the worship team at our church.
Yeah.
Have you like grown up playing in worship teams, like youth group teams, anything like that? How did that start? Where you started playing on the worship team?
Little cute baby John started playing a youth group.
Yeah.
He was such a little cutie
Yeah.
pie.
I probably joined the church that we're at now 7 years ago, 8 years ago, maybe
I'd say 8 years ago.
8 years ago. And then we only had one drummer at the time, I think. It was just Jordan. So I would play.
But
Musical
really, Jordan
phenom.
is about 8 drummers in one.
yeah, he's an animal. Yeah, so I started playing on our youth service thing, and I was a very shy, quiet drummer, and always was told that I was playing like a princess, which
Wow.
I was, to be fair.
I was told that you were informed that you did have to start like playing louder and like
Yeah,
it's okay to hit the drums,
Yeah.
John.
you won't break them, and they won't hit back.
But I will if you don't start playing more.
Yeah, so it's been a huge journey of gaining more and more confidence when playing the kit, and I'm always approached and people comment on that progress that they've seen, especially if it's like someone who hasn't been at the church a lot and they like visit every couple years or whatever. They'll usually come up to me like, wow, you're like a completely different drummer.
Or they don't recognize me. Like, we are so glad that you're here at the church because the kid they had here a few
Yeah.
years ago, he sucked.
He played like a princess.
Yeah, I couldn't even hear him.
John's like, wow, what a loser that kid was.
Yeah, that guy sucked.
I mean, but it is night and day. Like with just the,
Yeah.
even when you try, like you actually try new things now at practice.
Yeah.
And sometimes I turn around to you and I'm like, that was awesome. And sometimes I'm like, that didn't go how you anticipated, did it?
Yeah.
And then we both just start laughing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have it any other way.
But yeah, it's been great playing with the worship team for so many years.
How many years?
6 or 7. I feel like I started playing the drums on the team pretty quickly after I started joining went to church.
You started on Engage Youth.
Yeah.
I think you were maybe 15 or
Probably,
16.
somewhere around there.
Well, so that also brings up you're also a fairly new drummer when you started playing on the
Yeah.
team. So
Drum
as
set player, yeah.
yeah, so as you've learned more on the kit, you've also grown as a drummer, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's
So
pretty
you,
cool.
like everyone who's at the church got to see that growth.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We all did it together.
Like my life, your life, together.
That's funny. Yeah, that's probably all my band experience playing with music. Is the worship team, the band I'm in now, school band, and that little tiny garage Delta 6 band, which was a
But you
joke.
never wrote any songs, right? Like,
Did
No.
Delta
Not
6 ever go dark?
that was funny, actually. I'm not going to insult you. That was funny.
That was pretty good.
That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
I remember.
I'm making a Call of Duty reference.
I remember for Delta 6, one of our friends wanted to sing for us, and he's like, he was the really short kid who hasn't hit puberty yet. Like he actually had to get steroids like medicinal steroids so that he could grow.
To like
So he had like a really high pitched
growth problem.
voice.
Yeah.
Even in like middle school and early high school. Anyways, his audition, I made a bet with him that if he could scream louder than I could play the drums, then he would be in the band. And he did it.
Did it just sound like a small
It sounded like someone was being murdered. in the
female
house.
child being murdered?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Super high pitched.
so
That's kind of funny.
that was fun. And then everything just fell apart. And now we're
Like
here.
bands tend to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't work out. That's okay. Yeah, so that's my experience.
Nice.
Zach was in an emo band.
I like to hear about
Ish.
Wait, the band was Ish? Or the emo
The band
was
was
Ish?
trash.
So the band was Ish.
I would say it was more like we were going for like hardcore.
No, you're not
but-
hardcore.
No, you're not hardcore
Unless you live hardcore.
unless you live hardcore.
I don't know this reference.
School of Rock.
I've seen it. I
Not
don't
enough.
remember. I don't remember that
Okay.
All right, we're having a trilogy. We're gonna do.
Yes.
We're gonna do Whiplash,
Whiplash,
School of Rock, and Tenacious D.
Yes.
part. Tenacious D is a movie. I thought that was a
It's a band.
Yeah.
But they made a movie
Oh, I didn't know that.
too.
Jack Black and his
Kyle
dad,
Gass.
brother.
No,
No,
not
they're
related.
not unrelated.
Not
Unrelated.
at
No
all.
Oh, okay.
relation.
Okay.
Nope. Kindred spirits.
Gotcha. I was gonna say they seem like they'd. Anyways,
So, once I started my band experience, once I started playing drums, of course, all my little friends from youth group that were like, we were like 13 and 14, and some of them were like learning bass or learning electric guitar and whatnot, and we were like, we should make a band, you know. So we literally had a garage band where we would practice. Actually, not a garage band, a driveway band. Because one of the guys, his family was fairly wealthy, and they had a big house with a big driveway, and so we could just go like set up in their driveway, and we would play. And it was mostly just like a bunch of teenage kids that were new to their instruments jamming in the driveway, and it was all terrible, but we called it a band.
was it outside?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Like you missed the part where they said they
driveway.
played
Well,
in
that's
the
what
driveway.
I was like,
Yeah.
that's such a weird place to.
Well, because the garage was full,
Okay.
so it really was like we would just bring our stuff over and we'd
Extension cords.
play in the driveway. Yeah. Well, I played drum kit, so I didn't need an extension cord. So, but it was so we called it a band. We were terrible because we were all still learning our instruments. We wanted to be like, this was in the era of like emo, screamo,
Yeah.
hardcore music. Like we were
Yeah.
all little emo kids. I did at one point have like long hair.
Oh, that's so awesome.
All of us did.
Yes.
And
Did you paint your fingernails black?
no, I
Oh,
didn't do that.
what?
I didn't do that. No.
I always wanted to do that, but I always thought people would judge me about it, so I never actually did it. Now I'm just too old.
What?
That's true. So we had a killer name for our band, though, which I was not a part of creating the name, because they made it while three of them were playing Gears of War
Oh, nice.
one night, and I guess there's some level that's like in a graveyard, and they're like, oh, blah, 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 something, hey, yeah, it's like a gunfight in a graveyard, and they were like, oh, that's such a hardcore name for a hardcore band, gunfight in a graveyard.
That's a
And-
great name.
That's a
and
pretty
so
sick name.
we thought
actually.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
Gunfight in a graveyard. And then
Was this secular music or religious music? Because you said you came from.
I
the
mean,
youth team.
we didn't really write any music because we were terrible. Like we would jam in the driveway, like trying to come up with
Yeah.
music. So I don't think we didn't get that far.
Okay.
We knew that we wanted to be more like kind of
Edgy.
hardcore,
Yeah,
edgy,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and we never really got into actually writing music. It was just like driveway jams.
At the rich kid's house.
Yeah. And so eventually they decided to shorten the name just to Gunfight.
Stupid.
Yeah, so we never wrote any of our own music. We would like find songs and like try to learn how to play them and stuff. We never played any shows or anything because we were terrible. And that just it really just kind of fizzled out as we got further into like high school, and just we didn't really play. And then I jumped on like the youth group worship team, and that's where I actually like learned how to play with the band, was playing with the worship team
Yeah.
at youth group, playing drums. And then I played one show with my drum teacher. He, again, very talented musically, and he played multiple instruments. And he was creating a band and asked me to come play the drums.
Wow.
And so, he was playing piano for it, I think. It was a progressive jazz band. And it was called Geometric Sheep.
Nice. That's cool. I like that.
So again, not I had no part in naming it. He just asked me to come on, and it was interesting playing drums in a band with my drum teacher, because it was like we almost would write the drums together because he knew what he wanted. So in one sense, it was easy because he would help me write the drum pieces, but on the other hand, it was also a little weird because you're like, I'm playing drums in my drum teacher's band,
Right,
you
right.
know. And we only ever played one show,
Okay.
which is actually pretty fun. We played at like this coffee shop for a little event that the coffee shop had, and then,
Did it go well?
yeah, I mean the show went really good, and
Nice.
then it all kind of fell apart because one of the people in the band, my drum teacher and her were dating, and then they split up, and then the band fell apart.
Rookie
That actually
mistake.
is a reoccurring theme for any bands I played in, because I played in another band when I was in college. This was also during the era when like Mumford and Sons was just becoming big.
Yeah.
And so we were kind of gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do that like indie folk rock like kind of sound, and got into that, and I was asked to come play drums. Again, I was asked to come play drums, so I didn't have any
Wow.
part in like naming the band or anything like that, but they were called the Widdershins, which is I guess like a German word for like the outcasts or
Oh,
like something
okay.
like that. And then that was actually fun. Like it was a band where I actually got to like be pretty creative, and we had like 8 people in the band,
Whoa.
like multiple singers, and they
Wow.
would do like complex harmonies and cool stuff.
Yeah.
So you guys inspired the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yes.
I knew it.
Mm-hmm. And then we were actually starting to set up some shows, and then other people in the band that were dating each other
Oh my
broke up, and
gosh.
again, it just derailed the band. So, and then outside of that, I've played in worship teams for like the church that I was a part of, youth group. Then when I was at IHOP, the International House of Prayer, for several years, I played in their like their Justice House of Prayer, and I did drums, I did some vocals, did some like worship leading, and
Hmm.
played guitar, and subbed a handful of times in the global prayer room, and then after I got like onto the PD, and I had a negative experience with playing with a team there, and kind of was like, nah, I'm done with this, and I stopped playing music for like 6 years until
Wow.
until
Until
now.
fairly
I'm-
recently.
At
Yeah.
at IHOP, you had the negative experience.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
So with a particular
Individual.
yes, I would say that particular team. I don't want to drag like
Mm-hmm.
talk negatively, but in one particular team, there was some decisions that were made that were kind of
Not cool.
not cool.
And no matter
But
how we break it down, whether it's a worship band or a
Yeah.
regular band, it's still people.
It's
and
still
people are going to be
people.
people. And
Right.
not everybody's going to get along.
yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with that.
it happens. But I'm very excited now to be getting back into playing music and back into playing on a worship team. And
And this is where we announce for
So-
the very first time, us three will be forming a Creed cover band.
yes,
Wow.
absolutely. Who's going to take
Yeah.
on the vocals?
Me.
What am I playing?
Okay.
We're going to have 2 drummers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2 drummers
A
and a
bassist.
vocalist who's going to try their best to imitate.
Well, I just heard the news today. It seems my life is gonna change.
You have to sound like you're struggling
Yeah.
through every like word.
But 100%, if they come around here for the reunion tour, we're gonna go see them.
Absolutely. It's the same
So are
thing as
you.
like like my sister listened to NSYNC, and I like made fun of her liking boy bands and stuff. But now that they're talking about like reunion, I'm like, I would totally go to an NSYNC.
I would go to an
concert.
NSYNC concert.
Just-
when Backstreet Boys came around, I had no ambition to go see the Backstreet Boys, but I'll go see NSYNC.
I would go see JT and the crew.
Joey Fatone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, talking about Timberlake and the
Joey
crew.
Fatone.
But yes,
I think that's that.
Well,
Go
That
see
is that.
Creed. Hashtag 2023.
wow.
John, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of our podcast and sharing your life story and your insight.
Yeah, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule
Yeah.
for us.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime. There will be many more opportunities in the future.
Cool.
I have a lot of ideas for like other episodes talking about different aspects of musical stuff. So thank you guys again for listening to the My Life, Your Life Together podcast. If you enjoy what we do here, you enjoy the podcasts, feel free to like, subscribe, find us on Instagram, Facebook, pretty much anywhere that.
Website.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Our website. I forgot that last time too.
I know.
My Life, Your Life Together .com website. If you like what we do and you want to support us, there's also links to merch in our social media and on our website. We'd greatly appreciate it. And shout out again to our one hopefully our one dedicated fan in the Netherlands. If you are really in the Netherlands, that one fan, hit us up on anywhere or any of our social medias. So thank you guys again. And we'll see you soon.